Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chisom. On this video I'm going to be sharing with you on how I made this one shoulder dress. It's a very simple dress, so if this is something you would like to see, please keep on watching and let's get right into the video. So I have my fabric here and then my cotton tools. I have about 3 yards of fabric. If you are my size, 3 yards of fabric would be enough for you. So I'm going to mark directly on the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead to spread out my fabric and then cut out the upper parts then before going down to cut the skirt. So here I have 2 pieces of fabric. The one down is going to be for my back. As you can see, I already have my 2 inches zipper allowance for the back, and then I placed the other fabric on top of that line that I've marked for my zipper allowance. I'm going to go ahead to create a starting line at that top, and that is also going to serve as my shoulder line. Then from my shoulder line I'm going to go ahead to mark my bust line. Still placing the tape on my shoulder line, I'm going to go ahead to mark my front waistline. That is 17 inches. It's actually 16.5, but the extra 0.5 inches is going to be for joining the skirt part of this dress. So I'm going ahead to connect this into a straight line. Then from that point I'm going to mark my neckline 3 inches, and then I'll mark my neck width, which is 6.5, and then I made it 7 inches. The extra 0.5 inches is going to be for joining my sleeves. Then I went down by 1 inch to create my shoulder slant. Then I went ahead to mark my chest line, which is half of my armhole measurement, and then I'm going to go ahead to connect that into a straight line. Then on that armhole line I'm going to find the midpoint. Then from that midpoint I'm going to go in by 0.5 inches. That is going to be for the front armhole. And then on my bust line I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Then I'm going to connect it like so. This is for the front armhole, and then the second curve I'm drawing is for the back, going to be for the back armhole. I'm going to add my 2 inches sewing allowance. Then on the waist measurement, on the waistline I'm going to mark my waist measurement. I'm going to add 1 inch for my dart and then 2 inches sewing allowance. Then still on the waist measurement I'm marking my nipple to nipple measurement and adding 0.5 inch on the sides. Then on my bust measurement I came down by 1 inch to create my dart leg, and that is what I am connecting like so. So on the neckline I'm just going to go down by 1.5 inches for my neck depth. Then I added extra half inches on the shoulder line to join the shoulders, and then I went ahead to connect that line. So that is basically for our upper bodies. I mean, if this is not detailed enough, I have a tutorial on how to draft your basic bodies. So I'm going to go ahead to shape on the zipper area to avoid. So on the waistline I just divided what I had there on that zipper area by 2, and then I'm connecting it like this to the neckline. So that is what I'm cutting out. So that is it for our upper bodies. I'm going to go ahead to draw out my asymmetric neckline. So I am placing both the back bodies and the front bodies right side facing each other, and making sure that each sides are both equal, they all align. Then on one part of the shoulder I'm going to come down by about 5 inches. This is dependent on how deep you want your neckline to be. Mine, I just went down by 5 inches, and yeah. So you are going to see how I'm going to connect it to the other neckline in a curvy way. in a curve like so. And that is basically how to create your asymmetric neckline, your one shoulder neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out that part. And as you can see that as I'm cutting, I didn't just follow the line that I drew earlier. I had to make it curvier than I had drawn. So, and that is it for our upper bodies. I'm going to go ahead to draft out my skirt pattern. So for my skirt, I already have my starting line, which is my waistline. Then I went down by 8 inches and marked my hip line. And then I'm marking the length of my skirt, which is about 30 inches. And then I'm connecting this into a straight line. So if you are doing this on a pattern paper, you can actually label them. So on my waist, I marked my nipple to nipple measurements, added 0.5 inches on each side. And on the hip line, I went up by 1 inch to create my dart leg. And that's exactly what I am doing here. So on my waistline, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, add 1 inch for my darts, and then 2 inches sewing allowance. On the hip line, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and then I'll also go ahead to add my 2 inches sewing allowance. So because this is a pencil skirt, what I'm going to do on the hemline is to minus 6 inches from my hip measurement and then divide it by 4. So my hip measurement is 41. So 41 minus 6 is 35. So 35 divided by 4, I think I got 8 point something, and that was what I marked on my hemline. And here I am connecting all the lines like so. I don't forget to add your 2 inches sewing allowance on that hemline as well. So on this hip area, I am trying to make it more curvier so that that edge wouldn't be pointy while sewing. So and that is it for our skirt body. So I'm going to go ahead to cut this and then use this to cut my back pattern. So for the back, the only difference is just going to be my 2 inches for my zipper. So on the waist, as you can see, I'm not cutting directly on the line. I added about 0.5 inches. That is going to be to join the upper bodies. So this is going to be, as you can see, I've already brought out my another fabric under the front bodies. This is going to be my back skirt pattern. And I am also trying to shape the zipper area, just like I did on the upper bodies. And then I'm going to cut that out and then slash the other part open, and that is it for our skirt pattern. I'm going to use this to cut my lining. Like you can see, I've used each of these patterns to cut out a lining. So for the skirt lining, I made it 1 inch shorter than the main fabric. As you can see, I made it 1 inch shorter than the main fabric. I also went ahead to notch the dart area so that it will be easier for me to join. So I've gone ahead to join my lining to my main piece. I joined the shoulder first and joined the sides. I've also stitched the dart areas, and then I ironed it as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the front the skirt, the front part of the skirt to the front upper bodies. So I'm just going to join it like so, and also do that for the two piece for the back. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So now I have joined the upper bodies to the skirts. I'm going to join the shoulder. Remember, we have just one shoulder now, so I'm going to join the shoulder, and this is how I join my shoulder so that it will come out looking nice and clean. The rough edges will not be seen. So I just flip it like this, take it to my sewing machine and sew. I'm also going to go ahead to join the sides, the both side, then before going ahead to cut out the sleeve for this dress. So I've joined the sides. So to cut out the sleeve, I'm going to go ahead to measure what I have on my armhole on both of for both of the sleeve. I just measure what I have on this armhole. I have about 9 inches, and then on the off shoulder part I measured it, and what I have there is about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead to work on this first full sleeve first. So to cut out the pattern for this sleeve, I used a fabric which is bigger than the 9 inches which I measured, and that is because I wanted to gather it. I wanted it to have this puffy look, so I gathered it around the armhole. So what I have here is about 15 inches wide. So what I'm marking now is my cap height. Your cap height is your bust circumference divided by 12. Whatever you get is your cap height. So you mark that on from the starting line of your sleeve. You mark what mine is 3 inches actually, so that was what I marked there, and now I am drafting, just basically drafting my sleeve. If this is also not clear enough, I have a full tutorial on how to draft your basic sleeves. So on the end of this, at the edge of this sleeve, I'm going to fold this and add my elastic. This is a puffy sleeve, you all know. So I'm going to add my elastic at the edge of the sleeves. So this is for the off shoulder. So from that starting point, from the edge of this fabric, I'm going to come down by about 2 inches. You can also make yours 2.5 inches. This is going to be for the elastic casing. This is going to be the casing where I will attach my elastic. So after marking that, I'm going to bring the fabric, place that off shoulder sleeve part on this fabric to draw it out. So instead of just using the 3.5 inches that I measured earlier, so I'm marking out 1 inch by the side. That is going to be for joining, like for the allowance to close up the sleeves. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm also going to attach an elastic at the edge. So while I'm cutting this, I'm not cutting directly on the line that I've marked. I added 0.5 inches. This is an extra allowance to join my sleeve to my dress. So, and that is it. I'm going to add my elastic and also join this to my main dress, join the sleeves to the main dress, and that is what we have here already. See how beautiful it's coming out already. So as you can see, the puffy sleeve is coming out in all in its glory. Guys, don't mind me. So the next thing I'm going to do is to attach my zip. Guys, make sure you are ironing as you're sewing so that your sewing looks neat. So, and after that, this is our outcome. If you watched to this point, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. Bye. See you on my next video. Okay.